Right. This is something that I don't know, a topic I've been wondering about for a while, and I don't know what. I guess a couple weeks ago, Chris and I were trying to decide what should I talk about. I have a hard time coming up with stuff, so this is something that we came up with, and the question is, are we obligated by Scripture to give someone whatever they ask of us? We've all encountered people who've asked us for money. The beggar in front of a store, panhandler on the side of the road, maybe a member of our church or congregation, or even a biological family member. Does the Bible teach that we must give to each of them whatever they ask? On the surface, Matthew 5:42 would appear to say that. Give to him who asks of you, and from him who wishes to borrow from you, do not turn away. Do you think that's always what's expected of us? Quick search on Google or YouTube will reveal more than a few examples of panhandlers that have been followed and found that they make actually more than the average person out there. Does Matthew 5:42 apply to these people too? Are we to get up every day and go to work just to support people that are capable of working but just choose not to? 2 Thessalonians 3:10, for even when we were with you, we commanded you this, if anyone does not wish to work, neither let him eat. So we're most likely all familiar with that popular verse, but I'd like to back it up a few verses because most people don't give the whole thing. So backing up to verse 6, it starts off, but we command you, brothers, in the name of the Master Yeshua, Messiah, that you withdraw from every brother who walks disorderly and not according to the traditions which you receive from us. For you yourselves know how you ought to imitate us. For we were not disorderly among you, nor did we eat anyone's bread without paying for it, but worked with labor and toil night and day, in order not to burden any of you, not because we do not have authority, but to make ourselves an example for you to imitate us. For even when we were with you, we commanded you this, if anyone does not wish to work, neither let him eat. Here Paul is reminding the people of Thessalonica that even he did not ask for nor expect a handout. He worked with labor and toil night and day. The next group of people that comes to mind are the people that are not trying to scam people, but in their mind believe they are truly in need. The question becomes, are they in need because of the circumstances beyond their control, or are they in need because of choices they have made? There was a couple that would come to Chris and I periodically asking for help because they didn't have enough money to buy food. We would not give them money, but instead buy them food. This went on once a month or once every other month for a while. We then learned that they were going out to eat 3 or 4 times a month, and were even paying to have her nails done. I'm not saying that they did not have a right to do those things. They have every right to do. What I do not think is okay is for them to spend their money during the month on their wants, and it came to us at the end of the month because they couldn't meet their needs, and expect us to make up the shortcoming. I realized in their mind there's nothing wrong with this. By the end of the month, they had forgotten about the wants that they had spent their money on, and now were focusing on their needs.
Amen.
It was now the end of the month, and they did not have food. What they failed to realize is that they were not capable of meeting their own needs because they did not spend wisely earlier in the month. And what it really meant is that they were asking us to pay for their going out to eat and their nails. Does that seem fair?
It's true, sir.
We are told we are to love our brother in 1 John 4:21. And we have this command from him, that the one loving Elohim should love his brother too. The question becomes, what does it mean to love your brother? In Mark 12:31, and the second like it is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other command greater than these. None of us like to be taken advantage of. So to show our brother, or to love our brother as ourselves, would be to not take advantage of our brother.
Amen.
We are told that we should be good stewards of the gifts that we have been entrusted with. In the first example of the swindling panhandles, are we being good stewards if we just give to those too lazy to work for themselves? Are we being good stewards if we give to someone we know there is a good likelihood that the money will be used for drugs, alcohol, or gambling?
That's true.
How then are we to help people that are in need? Many times what people are asking for is not what they truly need. Many times people are, if someone finds themselves consistently short at the end of the month, what they need may not be an extra couple of dollars. It could be what they need is help evaluating how they spend their money that they do earn and budgeting how it's spent.
Amen.
I have coworkers that are always complaining about not having enough money. Coincidentally enough, they're the same ones who go out to lunch every day. Nowadays, I think the average fast food meal is about $8.
Wow.
For about $15, you can buy enough food to make your lunch for a week. That'd save you $25 a week or $100 a month. The problem is that many people do not want to make the hard choices. But another reason is they may just not have been taught how to actually evaluate where their money goes and effectively budget. In the example of the couple above, not only were they eating out and going to the nail salon, in discussions we also learned that the man would get 2 to 3 sodas out of the drink machine every day. They both smoked 1 to 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and both had cell phones with high data limits.
Wow.
When I recommended to him that he get a notebook and track everything they spent money on, so that at the end of the month they could take a look and determine where their money was all going, he had no desire to do the exercise. They did not want true help. They just wanted someone to subsidize them. In Ephesians 5, 1-2, become then imitators of Elohim as beloved children, and walk in love, as Messiah also has loved us, and gave himself for us, a gift and an offering to Elohim for a sweet-smelling fragrance. If we truly love our brother, we want them to not only have what they need now, but in the future too. It is not a loving thing to do to give money to someone who will use the money for unhealthy things or will create a dependence. If we contribute to any of these things, we will not be truly helping the person and not truly loving them. Yahweh does not give us everything we ask in the way we ask for them, because he is love and does not want us to hurt and does not want to hurt the loved one. And some of our requests may be sinful or not profitable to us. Matthew 5:42, give to him who asks of you, and from him who wishes to borrow from you, do not turn away. This is not an unconditional giving, and it's certainly not a promise that Yahweh will give us all that we ask. If something is bad or against his will, as in other places, he explains that we will not receive unless we ask according to his will. 1 John 5:14. And this is the boldness that we have in him, that if we ask whatever according to his desire, he hears us. In James 4:3, you ask and do not receive, because you ask evilly, in order to spend it on your pleasures. Yahweh teaches us in 1 Corinthians 13:3 that even if we give all our possessions to feed the poor, but we don't have love, it does us no good. And then if I give all my possessions to feed the poor, and if I give my body to be burned, but do not have love, I am not profited at all. If we just give money to someone in need without loving them, then there is no true good in the deed, because the purpose of the commandment is not that the poor get money, but the purpose is for us to show them true love from a pure heart. In our heart, we should want the person to be bettered in the long run. The scriptures teach us that to help the person of the poor, not just his pocket, thus not encourage him to covetousness and not risking to be helping him to do something sinful. If we take care of the person of the poor, then we will know for sure that we are helping the poor according to Yahweh's will, because we will be acting in biblical love, as we will know who he really is, and we will be able to help him in his real needs. In Deuteronomy 15:7-8, it says, when there is a poor man with you, one of your brothers, within any of the gates, in your land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you, do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from your poor brother. For you shall certainly open your hand to him, and certainly lend him enough for his need, whatever he needs. Note 2 things about this passage. The commandment assumes that we know for sure what the needs of the poor are. And that the second is that help is a loan. It's not a handout. This is confirmed in Matthew 5:42, would appear to say that, give to him who asks of you, and from him who wishes to borrow from you, do not turn away.
Amen.
Proverbs 3:27-28, do not withhold good from those who deserve it, when it is in the power of your hand to do so. Do not say to your neighbor, go and come back, and tomorrow I give it, when you have it with you. Note that this command also assumes that we know what is due to our neighbor. Circling back to the couple that I started talking about, never once did they offer to work for any of the help. They just asked for us to give it to them. Sometimes part of helping someone in love is actually letting them work for it. That way they can keep the self-respect that comes from earning a living instead of just asking for a handout.
Amen.
I remember hearing a story of an old rabbi that kept a large stack of bricks in his backyard. When someone would come to him looking for money, he would tell them he had a stack of bricks that he needed moved. He would have the person move from one place in the backyard to another. The next time someone would come to him, he would have them moved back. This served a twofold purpose. It helped weed out the people that were just looking for a handout, and it helped the person retain their dignity as they felt that they did not just get a handout, but instead earned the money. Proverbs 22:22, do not rob the poor because he is poor, and oppress not the afflicted at their gate. Just giving money to someone in need could actually be oppressing them. How many people in this country are on welfare because that's all they know? They're the third or fourth generation in their family that is dependent on the government assistance to survive. They cannot be held completely responsible because that's all they know. But at some point, the cycle has to be broken. By just giving money, we are actually robbing them of the motivation to get out there and better themselves. Acts 3:1-6. And Kepha and Yochanan were going up to the set-apart place at the hour of prayer, the 9th hour. And a certain man, lame from his birth, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the set-apart place, which was called Yahweh, and to ask for alms from those entering the set-apart place. Seeing Kepha and Yochanan about to go in a set-apart place, he asked for alms. And Kepha and Yochanan, looking steadfastly at him, said, look at us. And he gave heed to them, expecting to receive whatever from them. But Kepha said, I do not have silver and gold, but what I do possess, this I give you. In the name of Yeshua Messiah of Nazareth, rise up and walk. Here, Kepha and Yochanan were asked for money by a lame beggar. They did not give him money, but instead healed him. Instead of doing something that would help him for a single day, they did something that would help him for the rest of his life.
I don't believe it.
In closing, just like a medical infirmity, if we only treat the symptoms of poverty without addressing the underlying cause of that poverty, nothing will ever change.
Amen.
The next time someone comes to you in need, think about how you can help them and make sure that they are truly helping them and not just enabling them to be lazy or make poor decisions. It's the old adage, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for the rest of his life.